Well, hi there, folks. This is Kim Willis, and I've got another in the series, the interview series here with people that are really what I might call movers and shakers, up-and-comers, people who are really doing some interesting things with their online marketing, their home businesses, etc. So I've got Herb Lamba here. He's my guest today, otherwise known as Optimal Herb, which is kind of a branding thing for him. I might ask him about that, how he came up with that name, or what was the thinking behind it. But just by way of introduction, I'll just let you know a few little points about Herb, and then I'm going to hand it over to him. Herb is a Canadian. He's based in Toronto, which I think is on the West Coast. That's right, isn't it, Herb?
No, more on the East Coast.
Oh, the East Coast, that's right, yeah. The East Coast, that's right. And he started life as a school teacher. He started his working life as a school teacher, then he migrated into the IT sector. His wife is also in the IT sector, and he's been dabbling with home business ideas and programs over the last, I think it might be a year or something like that. He joined one big ticket program and spent quite a lot of money. And but anyway, I'll let Herb share his story with you rather than me preempting that. So Herb, I've got a question for you. Can you just briefly give us an idea as to the journey that you've been on and the motivation for seeking home business success? How did you get to that point?
Yeah, no problem, Kim. So first of all, thanks for doing this. It's an honor to try and share my story. So my journey started, in reality, my journey started probably 5 years ago, because I've been thinking about this for a good 5 years. I just never got off the couch to actually go and do anything until February of 2016 is when I really started. In December of the year before, I finally made a decision that the current path I'm on is not getting me anywhere, and I'm not going to move up in my career. I'm not going to be able to double my income. I may not be able to retire when I want to retire, and so I decided finally that's enough. I'm going to change my situation. But I started my career in teaching, and that's where I got the taste of how you can make a difference for people, how you can impact people's lives, even though it was with kids. I never lost that flavor, even though I went into IT for 15 years, and then it kept bothering me that I'm not doing everything I can do. I'm not living the life that I can live. I'm not impacting the people that I believe I can impact. So all that combined, I think now I'm finally in the right place, doing what I should be doing, and I'm only getting started. And I struggled like every internet marketer, I'm sure, for 7 or 8 months. I struggled. It was a struggle, but I never lost faith in doing. I never lost faith because I really believe I'm on the right track. And I understood early on that it's going to come with struggle. I'm not going to just fly into this. I have no list. I have no credibility. I have no authority. That I'm going to have to suffer my way through this. And thankfully, I did join a big ticket program. I really struggled with that. I spent, without giving the value, I spent quite a bit of money, especially on the advertising side. I spent a lot of money trying to promote, but I never got anywhere with that. I tried blogging. I never really got anywhere with that, but I probably didn't put enough funding into that. But now I'm here with this group. Really changed everything for me. It's been a real change for me in the last month and a half. It's starting to feel like I'm on the right track.
Yeah, that's great. So how long have you been trying to make money in the online home business sphere?
Since February of 2016.
February 2016, and is it fair to say that it's only been in the last 6 weeks or so that you've
absolutely
you've made money, had some breakthroughs, etc.
I was making money, Kim, but not selling. I was making money helping people. Yeah. So people needed help with websites because I had an IT background. I made money like that.
Yeah,
but not this way.
Yeah. And so what's your ultimate goal? Where do you see yourself in 2, 3, 4 years? That type of thing.
Yeah. So I want to be like I look at guys like Ray Higdon and some of these guys. I want to be at that level, right? I want to be able to inspire people. I want to impact people. If you ask me, do I have a dollar value? I don't really have a dollar value. My first goal is to quit my job. So the minute I'm matching my salary for a consistent period of time, I quit my job. But for me, this is more about, I want to inspire, impact people. That's what's driving me every morning. Not dollars.
Yeah.
It's all about how can I help, and if I learn what I learn, how can I share my information and help other people?
Yeah. Now, one of the methods or tools that you've been using is video, and you become really good at it. And often the theme it revolves around personal development issues. That means a lot to you, the personal development side of things, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I fell in love with Jim Rohn probably 10 years ago. I used to listen to his CDs in my car, but again, never got off my butt and did anything. But I used to listen to him. I had it memorized. I could have redone his entire spiel. And ever since then, I've been listening. On and off. I'd listen, so I'd get inspired one night, wake up the next day, and it's gone away. It just disappears. But yeah, I love personal development. I spend 3 hours a day because I take advantage of driving my car. I take advantage of my commute to work and back. I take advantage of the shower. I listen to content wherever I can. And now my TV, instead of watching sports, turns into watching YouTube. Right? I've changed a lot of habits. Right?
Yeah, well, that's fantastic, and anybody who is watching or listening to this interview ought to catch some of Herb's videos. We'll certainly give you access details and contact details about Herb separately. But they do have an impact, and the point is that I think should be made is that, particularly for newbies who might be watching this interview, is that Herb started doing these videos before he was making money. He started down this pathway in advance of him generating an income. And the reason why I mention that is that a lot of people think, they look at somebody like yourself, Herb, and others, they think, well, I don't have any success, so I can't really do that sort of thing yet. How would you answer that kind of objection or concern that people often have?
Yeah, so I honestly have that same feeling when I watch people's videos, and because I wanted to inspire other people, I was so jealous of, man, those guys are good. They're able to talk, they're able to share information, and then I came across that concept of anybody can do this to me. Is you can invest some time and learn something, you can get on a camera and teach somebody else. And I heard in a podcast some time ago that the one mistake that people make is do invest the time. They take a lot of notes, they do a lot of training, but they don't take the step that could help them build their credibility and build their brand. And that's take what you learn and simply go teach somebody else. And I want to share one more thing. So going on camera for me, if you would have known me 15 years ago, there's no way I'm coming on camera and talking like I'm talking now. I practice in the mirror. I do stuff to practice. I don't just come on that camera and go. Now I'm feeling much better. But in the beginning, I was practicing in the mirror. I was trying to see how well I could speak based on the points that I believe in. I use cue cards if I need. I haven't done a video with cue cards yet, but I'm sure that's going to come. And I don't care. I honestly don't care what people think. I think that's really important. Just go up, be vulnerable, say what you know, and if you'll impact somebody by sharing your information. If I impact one person, I'm absolutely thrilled with that.
Yeah, you're definitely having an impact, because we see the comments that you get on your wall and in groups and affinity groups and so on. So it really is making quite a difference, and you're building your sphere of influence, you're building your audience, your tribe, which is really what it's all about. And just coming back to the question of fear, or the point that you made about fear, everybody experiences fear, particularly if it's if we're talking about something that we've never done before, such as putting ourselves out there in front of a camera and recording a video. But the point is that you dealt with your fear, you did it, you felt the fear, and you did it anyway. As I think the title of a great book, Susan Jafferis. But You felt the fear and you did it anyway, didn't you?
Yeah, and I did it because I felt I have to do this. If I want to go where I want to go, I don't have a choice. Because if I avoid video, my brand is going to take me much longer to build. When I know that Facebook is working on video, that's all they're focused on right now. If Facebook is doing it, they know what's going on in the industry. So I really felt I have to. So I would get up, for example, Sunday mornings before anybody wakes up, even sometimes on the weekdays, and practice. Just practice. Think of a topic and start talking. My very first one was, can I tell my personal story for 1 minute? Go in front of the mirror, my personal story, and get good at being able to talk without the ums and the ahs and try to cut that out. But then I realized afterwards the ums and ahs and all that stuff really doesn't matter. People like your vulnerability. People will like your natural presence. So if you come out too polished, that might actually not work in your favor. So at that point, I just turned on the camera. And the other thing I do is I don't think too much. So the minute I decide that it's time to do a video, I know my topic, I press record. I don't try to think of all the bullets. I don't try to, I just start talking. And to keep myself from getting too structured, too nervous, I just go with the flow.
Yeah, and that makes you more authentic, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's my goal. Yes.
Yeah, and that's what people want. Almost stream of consciousness stuff. But you're kind of regurgitating what you've already internalized previously because of the study and the work that you've been putting in over the years in regards to the topic of personal development. True?
That's an excellent point. Yes. So that's one thing I find. Because I listen to so much information, even if I was to hit a speed bump when I'm talking, I have so much information that I can change the track quickly, right? Because I got so much in my head so I think listening to podcasts, I can listen to some podcasts 15 times. Like there's so much good information in there that I'll listen to it over and over and over so that I can pull it whenever I need it.
Yeah, that's a mighty powerful point. So you mentioned Facebook. Could you just, and you previously, earlier in the interview, you mentioned advertising with the previous program that you were trying to promote. You were spending a small fortune on advertising. Looking at what you're doing today and comparing it to back then, what are the main differences? Obviously, I assume you're not spending money on advertising now, but what other differences are there?
Yeah, so once I learned this technique, I completely dropped advertising. So since November 15th, I don't think I've spent a penny. Maybe on Facebook likes, $5 one time on Facebook likes, but I'm not spending any money on advertising. I'm really trying to learn how to have a conversation. I'm really trying to learn how to be patient, identify pain points, and not go for the kill so quickly. So that has been a big change because I didn't have that patience before. I was doing solo ads, and if I used Facebook, I would go right to the pitching my other company, for example. So I was one of those pitch, but I didn't know better at the time. So now I'm a lot more patient. I'm a lot more understanding. I try to ask them to tell me their story first. That's my first question. What's your story? I try to find something in common, and go from there. But it really helps just listening and starting by never telling my story first. I always ask them to tell theirs.
Yeah, that's a great point. Listening skills are critically important, aren't they?
Yeah, and I'm realizing it more so in the last few weeks. But people want to tell their story. That is for sure. People want you to listen. They want you to understand their pain. And if you take the time to understand, and as I mentioned this morning, I take notes on, or yesterday maybe, I take notes on every single person that I talk to. So the next time it comes up, because you're talking to so many people, you may forget. And when you remember that somebody had cancer or somebody has this or that, I think that adds another level of trust, right?
Yeah. And you because we're talking Facebook as your primary program now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Your primary platform, rather.
Yeah. Yeah. So what I do is I start the conversation on Facebook, but I'm really trying to push them to have a Skype call as a conversation or a Facebook call.
Yep.
And the other thing that I'm doing that's probably different. So with my team, I don't have a huge team yet, but the people that signed up under me, I hold a webinar that I created on Thursday at 9 o'clock. And it's there. People can invite people to that webinar. That's all you got to do. If you're talking to people, just send them to the webinar. And if I'm meeting somebody and they have time, I go straight into the webinar and say, like, you know, if they're interested in, or if they're open, I use that word a lot. Are you open to looking at another opportunity? If you phrase it like that, a lot of people, well, I'm open. I'll listen. And then I go through traction marketing. I go through get paid today. After 7 months of frustration, this is what I'm doing now, and I'm making money. So if you're interested, you know, we can keep talking. And I know that it's to work for me, at least in the beginning here.
Yeah, that's great, and that's an example of doing something extra. In fact, a webinar that I ran about a week ago, I talked about that. What is the extra thing that you can do? So one of the extra things you're doing is you're running a webinar. Most people don't do that. So you're doing something over and above what marketers are tending to do. And so doing something extra, it's really worked for you, hasn't it? Because you've had several sign-ups from attendees, people who've attended your webinar.
Oh, I think webinars are amazing for trust and getting to actually talk to a live person. They get their questions addressed right on the call, and it's amazing. And that's why I've added that piece telling people, if you're not comfortable doing webinars, just send them to mine, because ultimately you'll get the sale. But yeah, send them to mine, and I'll go through it with them.
Yeah. Now, I just want to refer back to a point that you made a couple of minutes ago, and it was about patience. Patience. You said that the old you was perhaps somewhat more impatient, so that when you were talking to people, you got straight to the point, throw on the link and start pitching and all of that stuff, and that's different to the way you are now. You're more like a farmer than a hunter, aren't you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I wasn't interested in having a personal conversation.
Yeah.
I was anxious to I'm only here to talk to you for one reason, and now looking back at it, it's really silly, but now I'm very patient. If it takes me 3 weeks to bring somebody, I don't care, right? I'll just keep talking to them, and when that door opens, then I go and enter the door. But I don't try to force that door open. I don't try to, I try to direct the conversation a little bit. I'm just very patient with, and even following up. So people don't say anything, they don't have much interest in the beginning. You wait a few days, you ask again, or you talk about something else. And I actually got 2 sign-ups like that where I just kept following up.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't leave them alone. I didn't accept just, I'm not interested right now. I didn't accept that right away. To kind of keep going, keep talking.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that's awesome. And so with just thinking once again about the newbie, the new person that may be watching this, or perhaps they've been involved in the industry for a while, but they're just not getting the success that they want. What advice would you give a newbie or someone who is really struggling? What would you say to them?
So I think there's a couple things. So number one, at least I find in my experience talking to people, is they don't have an agenda for the day, right? So I get up on Sunday morning, I write my agenda for the week, and some of the points are exactly the same. I need to talk to 15 people, I need to try and reach out to 15 people a day. I want to have 3 conversations, etc. I got those bullets written down on every single day. So that's one. I think you need to have your agenda. Otherwise, you get distracted too easily. If you just come and sit down at your computer and don't have an agenda, you're going to lose some evenings because somebody sends an email, a new webinar comes in, there's a cool product that you're going to take a look at. So I think that lack of focus is very easy to get lost in, and I find the agenda for me is very, very important.
Yeah, the issue of focus is a critical one. What I find is that a heck of a lot of marketers who aren't making money, they lack focus. They're incredibly diffused. They're all over the place. Sometimes I say they're all over the place like a drunken sailor. they just don't understand the concept of focus and how powerful it is. But you, with your agenda idea and being disciplined in terms of adhering to your agenda, you've reduced the risks for yourself of being seduced by shiny objects and all of that.
Yeah, and then my other thing is, because I live this, and I talk to so many people, and I just still see it. But for 5 years, I lived this kind of behavior. But so for a lot of people, I find it's not. They've joined a business, they have a dream, they want to achieve some success, but it's not their priority. Right? And until you make this your priority, then it's very easy for you to say, well, my buddy invited me out, I'm going to go here. The football game's on, I'm going to watch the football game. And I mean, I'm an avid sports fan. I used to watch hours and hours and hours of sports. It's not easy to give up something like that for me. But priority is to change my life. And that is what I focus on every day. That's what gets my butt on this chair at the same time every single day. I have a routine, 5 in the morning. I have a routine from 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock at night. And I don't let anything get in the way. Unless it's a school event or something I have to go. But I'm really trying to stay focused, and I think that's the mistake I made early on. It wasn't a priority, and when it's not a priority, you're going to have trouble making money.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe they don't want it bad enough. They haven't quite reached that pivot point yet.
Haven't decided is what Jim Rohn used to say, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to decide. You have to decide.
Yeah, make the decision. Bob Proctor, he said the same thing. Make the decision. Have you made the decision yet? Have you really made the decision, backed by commitment? Oh no, I haven't really. Oh, so it's just a pipe dream. That's how brutal he was.
Yeah, no goals, no direction, no focus. It's all coming back to that same thing. But
yeah, a lot of this is attitudinal rather than technical, isn't it? And tactical.
Yeah,
attitudinal.
Yeah, just one more thing came on the part about I don't know what to say. Like I want to do a video or I want to write a post. I don't know what to say. Like, so the other thing, I did one today, and again, learned it from a podcast, but about you have to, as an entrepreneur, when you live your life day to day, there's always teachable moments, right? You can take something you did with your kids, something you did with a group, but there's always a teachable moment in everything that we do. So if you can find, and that makes a story, right? You can make a story, and I did one on like and trust. I took a story from over 20 years ago and converted it into something that I could use here. But another way to content is just look at your own life and pay attention to what teachable moments are out there, because you want to note those down and maybe share, and people will appreciate that.
Absolutely. Well, that's a great tip to end on, unless you've got any one final parting comment, Herb?
No, just never give up. That's my new motto. Never give up, and that just gives me comfort because I know I'm never going to give up. I just keep trying. When I hear Ray Higdon went through 11 marketing companies before he had any success, I hear other people who spent 3 or 4 years, fighting this thing and they got through. That gives me comfort to keep going. I'm only a year into it. I've got like a 5-year plan here, so just keep plugging away.
Yeah, it's early days. And how can people contact you, Herb? What's the best way?
So the best way for me is the way we're doing now is Skype. And my Skype handle is Herb Lamba, but that would be the most efficient way.
Yep.
But you can share my email address in any other format.
Yes, I will.
Find Skype is the best.
And I'll give them your Facebook detail as well. But Herb Lamba, so it's Lamba. On Facebook, he's known as Optimal Herb. Optimal Herb. That's it, isn't it?
That's correct.
Yeah. Finally, how did you come up with the name Optimal Herb?
So what happened? So when I started in this, so maybe this was not the right thing to do, but when I started in this and I didn't know anything about internet or network marketing, all I knew is it doesn't have a good reputation. I knew that much.
Yeah.
But I wanted to change my life, but I did not, because I wasn't very good at handling criticism, and I wasn't at the point that I'm at now. I didn't want to associate all my existing friends, all the people that I work with today, and have to deal with all the BS and the criticism and stuff. So I just created a new handle. And since I can't use the same name, I had to come up with a different name. So that's basically, I was trying something with Optimal to keep it with the brand.
Yeah.
And then that.
Yeah, well, that's great. It's memorable. People tend not to forget it.
Exactly. That's the idea.
Yeah, good thinking. All right, Herb. Well, that's great. Thanks very much. It's terrific that you've shared your story. You've given us some really good value here today, and looking forward to talking and maybe working with you some more in the future. Thanks very much, Herb. Have a great evening.
I appreciate it.